everybody, and welcome to another Dakman Productions podcast. In this podcast, we'll be talking about the train shows and the COVID-19. So as we last left off from other podcast or previous podcast, train shows around the country have pretty much been shut down since right around March of 2020 due to the COVID-19 and as well as other events besides train shows, but this will focus on train shows and events, this podcast, and I won't get into anything else. But so a lot of the shows have been canceled, as well as clubhouses even of model railroaders have been shut down as well. So that a lot of model railroad clubs were not allowed to have members come in and run their trains. So we've been moving along, hoping we would get through this, and just when we thought COVID was going away, and now it seems to be lingering around or reappearing. But as things reopen and partially, and so we're going through a lot right now, and a lot of people are getting frustrated of staying home, being home, and so forth and so on. And I understand that and get that. But the train shows, I'm sure have been suffering as well, because they haven't been getting any income and supporting their organization, and so and we've been without a place to go. And these train shows are pretty important to vendors and manufacturers, because vendors need a place to sell their trains. Not everybody wants to pay shipping prices, because the shipping prices are so high. No matter where you go, UPS, Priority Mail, FedEx, all the prices of shipping are pretty high. Not to mention the amount of damage that gets done between those three carriers. It doesn't seem like many are successful in getting your package to you without playing football with it. But some people luck out with getting their stuff undamaged, and some don't. And some people just don't want to pay the extra $20 to get, on the average, to get their $10 train to their house. So they're dependent upon these train shows, as well as the vendors, because the vendors, even though people do buy online, once again, they don't want to pay the shipping price. So they'd rather go to the show and pay the $5 entry fee and buy their train and get it right then and there, and they don't have to pay shipping. And they get to deal directly face to face with the vendor. The manufacturers, you get to meet Lionel or whoever, and they get to present the product that they're coming out with. So it hasn't been the same. The last train show I went to this year, 2020, was in February. That was it. After that, they shut everything down tight. Nothing anywhere was happening. I think it was 2 days ago, Greenberg Train Show organization had announced that they were allowed to open up Monroeville, or go forward with having the Monroeville, Pennsylvania show, because they were deemed as a vendor, and so being a vendor, they could actually go forward with the show. So that was a little bit of good news at the time. But the prices of the train show, have gone up. I noticed, the average price of entry fee to the train show is about, $10, depending on what day you went. And so I noticed the prices were $15 instead of $10, and so they were staggering, the time slots, because you had to buy tickets for a certain time slot. So they had tickets for buying tickets from 8 to 9, and then coming in. That was your scheduled time to come in, and then from 10 to 11. So they were trying to keep people away from each other as best they could. But they were allowing you to stay as long as you want. You just had a certain time slot to get into the show with your ticket. Well, unfortunately, today, Greenberg had announced that Pennsylvania, the state of Pennsylvania, rescinded that authorization. And so, unfortunately, Greenberg had to cancel the show, the Monroeville show, so those people will be getting a refund. And right now, the future of having any train shows for the rest of this year is up in the air. And it's unfortunate. I mean, I understand there's COVID, but for those who want to stay home, can stay home. And for those who want to go to the show, should be able to go to the show. It should be the individual person's choice, whether they want to take the chance or not. And that's how I feel about it. And I'm not going to try and get into any politics about it, but that's as far as I'm going to go with that anyway, as far as my personal opinion. But I was, at this point in time, the problem is, at this point in time, we don't know if Greenberg can go forward with the Oaks train show in Pennsylvania, which is only in August. It's right around the corner, as well as the Edison, New Jersey show. So those two shows are also, Greenberg announced, up in the air. I mean, they haven't canceled them yet, but they just said they're up in the air. So who knows what's going to happen. I mean, if they have them, it might be limited to how many people can be in there. And they might only be able to sell so many tickets. Or they might put people on a timeline. Who knows? I mean, it's just, this thing is a big mess, this COVID-19. And I don't know. It's sometimes it's hard to deal with something because, you know, you're so used to having something. You're so used to going to train shows, and you're so used to doing this, you're so used to doing that, and all of a sudden, boom, somebody takes it away from you. You can't do it anymore. And it's rough, and it's tough. So we'll have to, hold on a little longer and see what happens, and it could be, to the point where there might not be any train shows for the rest of 2020. It could happen. So we got to brace for that. But if the train shows do happen, and I can get there or go there, and there's no time limits or constraints on time limits of how long a person can be in there, I'll go and I'll try and bring you guys video footage from that train show. But I'm not keeping my hopes up for the rest of the year, so we'll see what happens. In the meantime, I've been inviting people on a limited amount to run trains here on Conway Rail, and I'll be coming out with a video a little bit later that you guys will see probably this weekend. I actually have the high rail layout. I have a traditional layout. The traditional layout, I just added an MTH transformer, so at least people can run MTH trains in conventional mode on a traditional layout. And of course, I still have the high rail layout. So I had a couple guys here last weekend, and they were running, one was running the traditional layout and one was running the high rail layout, and I was shooting video of it. So we had a blast, we had a good time. So I'm trying to bring you guys different videos of things, even if it's, my own stuff. So I'm staying involved as far as bringing the audience different trains or model trains to the YouTube channel of Dakman Productions. So even though Dakman Productions, hasn't brought you an actual train show video since February, still trying to entertain you with what's going on Cancellations rail, high rail, and traditional. Also, it was a spur of the moment thing. It was an idea that hit me, but I'll go ahead and tell you guys now because you're only going to see it in the video in the next couple of days. I decided to go ahead and create the Cancellations rail O-Gaugers Club. The club is only for those who run here on Cancellations rail, so I do have a Facebook group for that. Currently, we're starting out small, but currently we already have 6 members. We'll see how it grows from there. And like I said, I'll host an open house for the members, and right now I'm only allowing 2 visitors at a shot at a time. That's the limit. There's no more than 2 people at a time. So yeah, I opened up. I created a club called the Cancellations Rail O-Gaugers Club, and we already have 6 members besides myself. And who knows, it might grow from there, and if it does, great. I mean, if it stays the same, that's fine. We got some close friends, and we come here to have fun and run trains because there's nowhere else to go. There's no train shows. There's no other clubs that are open, so I said, heck with it. I'll create a club, and we'll run here on Cancellations rail. And like I said, right now I'm only allowing 2 people at one shot to run, but we're still running. And they run different trains, and I'm going to bring you guys Cancellations rail O-Gaugers open house sort of video in the next couple days, so you'll see that and look out for that. And anybody else in South Jersey, Eastern Pennsylvania, Delaware, or Eastern Maryland area want to run on Cancellations rail, just send me a message through Dakman Productions on YouTube or Dakman Productions on Facebook. I'm on either one, and bring some trains and we'll run them. Once again, I cannot run any DCS right now, any MTH on the high rail, but I do have a traditional layout that you can run DCS and conventional mode. So we'll see what happens in the future. That's another thing with MTH. In this situation that it is, because MTH did say that they were going out of business. So I want to see where and what happens to MTH before I get into any DCS or adding DCS to the layout on the high rail side of it. So I'm going to hold off on any additions there as far as MTH, adding a TIU or Wi-Fi or whatever have you on this end of it. But the traditional layout, I do have MTH Z1000 transformers, so we can run at least MTH in conventional mode, as well as Weaver, Lionel, K-Line, whatever you got in conventional mode, we'll run over there. Doesn't matter what it is. I even had guys during the Cancellations rail O-Gaugers Club open house. I even had a guy who was running post-war trains. And that was nice to see too. I enjoy all models of trains, O-Gauge, whatever era. But he brought over post-war line on. That was cool to see running. And then another guy brought over a Lionel complete train set, and he bought it for Christmas, but he wanted to see it run. I said, sure, bring it over. run it. We'll run it. That's what we're here for. You know, I'm here to share the fun and the hobby. I still want to continue sharing and having fun. I just don't want to sit in the corner scared or whatever have you. I mean, if you're comfortable coming over and running, then I'm good with it, and we'll run here. I mean, like I said, we'll limit it to 2 people at one shot or one time, and we'll have fun. We'll run some trains, and I guess that's what the the O-Gauge hobby is all about. You know, having fun with friends and enjoying the hobby and sharing everything. So, the open house, I had a lot of fun because I really missed the train shows and talking to people, and we had a blast. It was just 3 of us, myself and 2 other people, because like I said, I'm limiting to 2 visitors. And we had a blast. Just talking about trains, running the traditional stuff, running the high rail stuff. It really filled the gap in for me as far as missing out on the train shows, because I'm so used to going up to the clubs and talking to them and talking to people, and I miss all that. But we had a blast last weekend. It was a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to hosting more of them in the future. I had a couple other visitors, and I'm sure you've seen it, the Amtrak Superliner video. That was a person who came to visit Cancellations Rail, and he wanted to run here with his Amtrak train, and he did on the high rail, and it was a great run. He had a lot of fun, and he asked to come back, and I said, sure, you can come back. So he's part of the Cancellations Rail O-Gaugers now, or the club now as well. So he'll be returning, and he wants to bring some more trains and traditional trains with him, and sure, that's fine. So it's, on one hand, it's a little disappointing and sad that we have to deal with this COVID-19, and we're going without, these train shows are closed up. Now, I understand there's a lot of other things going on besides train shows that are closed, but this video is to focus on the train shows, and then that's it. I'm not going to get into the other things that are closed as well. There's plenty of other stuff that's shut down that I'm sure that's people feel is more important, and that's fine. But this podcast discussion focuses on train shows and the model train hobby, and that's it. So I probably should have said that in the beginning. But at any rate, so to me there was like a little lag there, without the seeing the people, talking to people. And I said, you know what, maybe I'll just open, it was an idea that I got, and opening up Cancellations Rail O-Gaugers Club, and like I said, we got 6 members, and we'll go from there. We'll see see how it grows from there. And I just had another person who expressed interest in joining and running trains today. Before this video, so word's getting around, and of course there'll be safety and precautions made, because like I said, I'm not going to have 10 people coming here and visiting. I'm going to keep it down to 2 to 3 people at one shot, and that's it. But we'll see what happens in the future. Hopefully, by 2021 we can get back on track and with the train shows, and I can bring the audience of Dakman Productions the train shows again that they always expected. But right now I'm coming up with different ways to bring you guys different videos of different trains. And at the same time, sort of developing more on this end as well. Now we have Cancellations Rail Oak Club, and then now we have members coming here and members running trains. So now you guys get to see different trains running. Besides my own, because I'm sure you can only show your own trains over and over so many times before it gets a little stale. I'm like, yeah, I already seen him run that before. Yeah, he's already run that before. Why is he bringing that up again? So I get it. Sometimes I'll make a run and try and change it up a little bit. And as far as a Conahey rail, I do have a couple more videos coming up on that. Couple different more runs that I got planned on making for you guys, but I won't spoil the surprise. So I'll let that be a surprise, you guys. So once again, if you want to, if you're in the South Jersey area, Delaware, Eastern Pennsylvania, Eastern Maryland area, and you would like to run Lionel TMCC or Lionel Legacy, K-Line TMCC, or even K-Line Conventional, I mean, I have two different layouts here where there can be, some fun to be had. One layout is totally either TMCC or Legacy, and the other one is all conventional. And the conventional layout, like I said, does have an MTH transformer on it, so there will be controls there for the MTH trains as far as the bell and the horn. And we'll go from there, and hopefully by 2021 things will be straightened around where I can start bringing train shows, because even though I'm doing this now, I still miss the train shows, but like I said, having that open house sort of made up for the entire year of not being able to talk to people or gather around. But we all had a blast. It was a lot of fun, and that was the fun that I really miss, being out there. But I won't try to make this long-winded. But keep an eye out on the train show websites and Facebook pages, because they are announcing they're having it, but then those approvals are being rescinded by the states, and then they have to cancel out. So unfortunately, make sure you keep an eye out, because right now everything's up in the air. And but I'm still going to keep going forward and having people, or a couple people at a time, come here and run trains, and we'll see what we can bring in. And thanks again for joining me in this Dakman Productions podcast, and we'll catch you guys later.